I'm not sure if you've heard, but recently Tiffany Haddish had a not so pleasant experience with Turkish Airlines. News media and outlets ran with it and said it was Tiffany Haddish travel drama. Tiffany Haddish threw a fit. But when I watched that video, I watched what can be anyone's travel experience. I don't know if it's because it's Tiffany Haddish and people just said it was travel drama. I'm not sure why it was dubbed as that because this type of thing can happen to anyone. Tiffany Haddish went live with her experience on Turkish Airlines. So let's take a look at this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Yeah, I'm crying a little bit because sad, man. You spend $7,000 for first class treatment and get treated like there was no greeter. Pay for a greeter. There's nothing for me. Excuse me, sir. And being a black woman here, you might as well be invisible. Hello. Thank you. Yes. I hope they treat me better in this damn first class, business class lounge. Shit. Turkish Airlines. Every time I fly Turkish Airlines to Istanbul, it's usually just in the airport. You get, hello. My flight to Asmara, I came in from Los Angeles, and my flight to Asmara is sitting at the gate, but they won't let me on the aircraft. And then they send me to customer care point, and then the customer care point sent me here. I paid for a business class ticket.
Why they didn't accept you? You don't have some documents, probably.
What do you mean? I don't have documents. I have all the documents. The flight was still at the gate, but they wouldn't let me on the aircraft because you said they closed the door already. But they were still putting cargo, and I saw my bags go on the plane. You're not supposed to put my bags on the plane, right?
Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish, yes. Yeah, that Tiffany Haddish.
You went to the door.
I went to the gate, and the man told me, go, no, we're not letting you on. He was very rude and told me, go to customer care point. I don't know. But it's like and then I said, I have first class ticket, business class ticket. He said, go to customer care point. Care point sent me all the way over here. What's going on?
Connection flight for Asmara. We have 2 days. New flight, but it's full. We check your connection flight here. After 2 days, Istanbul to Cairo, Cairo to Asmara. That is the best option for you.
2 days from now?
Yes.
Where do I sleep? How do I wash my body?
Turkish Airlines provides in downtown hotel. We will give you hotel.
So I stay here for 2 days?
In Istanbul. Yes, you must, because we don't have any flight tomorrow or today. Kadın hayatını yaşıyor şu an ya.
There's no flight tomorrow?
No. There's flight, but you have too much connection time.
So
More than 1 day connection time, you are waiting when you go there.
So I can't go through Dubai?
Dubai, you can check for it.
I'd rather be stuck in Dubai. I'm going to Asmara because my auntie is dying. I'm have dying family. This is why I'm even traveling on the holidays. I'm a very famous actress in America. Lots of movies, lots of TV shows. I asked for an escort to take me. No escort was there. I'm running. I'm trying to see my family. Well, all right, y'all. I'm here in Istanbul. I'm getting on a whole nother airline. This will be my first time riding in coach in years. They sending me to Dubai, and then from Dubai to Ethiopia, and then from Ethiopia to Asmara. And it seemed like once I went live, they started treating me a lot better. So I appreciate the women that work at Turkish Airlines, because they started treating me nice. And then I don't know who called who, but then the men start being nice too. But they was rude at first. And they even had somebody escort me over here to Emirates. But I had to buy a whole nother ticket that was over $4,000. And I'm in coach. Ain't that something? Couldn't buy no first class ticket or business class ticket. But I'm gonna make it to Africa.
When I was first at this video, I first didn't want to watch it because, one, it was a little triggering for me. I've had experiences where I've missed my flight. I was out of the country, missed my flight back to the States, and then that started a whole rigmarole. They wanted to charge me like $8K to get back to get on a flight, and I have another video on that, but that was an experience in itself. And I've had experiences where my flight was delayed and then I missed my connecting flight. That's happened often. So that's why I said, I don't know why this was dubbed as travel like drama and that she threw a fit. She handled it like anyone who has been traveling all day would be frustrated. I know I would be frustrated, especially in the circumstances that you listen to her in the video where she's trying to get to Asmata in Africa to get to a family member that's dying. She's traveling over the holiday. The people were not that friendly to her in Istanbul. And, I didn't see anything wrong with that. All beef aside, or whatever your, feelings are about Tiffany Haddish, I don't understand why people were saying she's breaking down. If you ever travel, period, especially internationally, you are going to have setbacks. You're going to have experiences where things don't go your way. I just saw frustration when women, especially Black women, speak their mind. They're wanting a certain level of customer service experience that we get deemed as, she's having a meltdown, or, she's the angry, not in this situation, she didn't get dubbed it, but sometimes we get dubbed as the angry Black woman. That really frustrates me. But like I said, if you've ever traveled, you can relate. I've had moments where I've broken down. I was in a country where I was chased around by someone that was trying to rob me, and I broke down literally at the police station and in the Uber. I applaud her for sharing her experience because I've shared my experiences of what it's like to travel to different destinations, different countries. Just understand what my experience is. Not saying it's going to be yours, but you can get a different viewpoint from what it's like to travel to X destination. When the mention of Turkish Airlines came into about when I was watching this video, I was not shocked by that because Turkish Airlines came to Atlanta maybe roughly a few years ago when they started offering flights out of Atlanta, but there was always a connecting flight in Istanbul. And I started doing my research on Turkish Airlines, and there's not that many good reviews on Turkish Airlines. You search on Skytrax, you search on Twitter, and lots of people complain about delayed flights, or their experience in Istanbul connecting has not been that good. So that's, I was not shocked by that. And she said that, people weren't friendly to her. The men weren't friendly. I've traveled to places within Europe where the men were not friendly to women. So I have had that experience, unfortunately. I talk about my experiences as a Black solo traveler in a video where I talk about like best destinations for Black solo travelers. You can check out that video. I wonder though, what was her connection time? The one time I did almost miss my flight. I had this similar experience, but it wasn't out of the country. I was going down to Florida to catch a cruise, and I quickly learned that I should have got a flight for the day before instead of flying the day of, because that is risky. My overall flight was supposed to be Charlotte to Fort Lauderdale. I had a connection in Atlanta because that's Delta's hub, and the flight from Charlotte to Atlanta was delayed. I actually got there to Atlanta and booked it out of the plane. Like ran from one end of Atlanta airport to the other. And I got to the gate and the door was closed. So I'm like going to the next gate over to try to see what can be done. And people started yelling at me like, "Hey, ma'am." And basically they opened the door and they let me on because they were delayed due to the food was not there. In Tiffany's situation, she actually was not able to get on the flight, but I wonder what was the connection time, because when you're doing some travel like that and you have that connecting flight, you do have to kind of think about the what ifs with your flight being delayed. That brings me to another point. Definitely when you're traveling, look into travel insurance. Of course, if you're booking a flight with a credit card, there's some coverage that comes into play, but you might want to look at what those limits are. There's only a certain amount, there's some caveats. I always use travel insurance. There are some coverages that cover like trip delay, baggage delay, lost baggage within travel insurance. Like when they offered her a flight that was 2 days later and she would be put up in a hotel, they were going to pay for the hotel. But say, for example, while she's waiting that 2 days, she could pay for things and be reimbursed during that time. They actually found her a flight on Emirates when she had to pay like $4,000 more. I do not think that would have been covered. But there are some instances where you'll be covered for refunds when you're due a refund. Okay, so this is from the Department of Transportation, and these, are some instances where you're entitled to a refund. You're entitled to a refund if your flight is canceled. If there's a schedule change or significant delay, you could be entitled to a refund, and it's based on a case-by-case basis. If they change your class of service, if your bag is lost, and then it talks about some instances where you're not entitled to a refund, which is, things like personal issues or unsatisfactory service, and if you have a non-refundable ticket. So I say this to say, it's kind of like a fine line. She had like a delay because of the first aircraft was late, and then her next alternative was 2 days later. So that is a significant delay. She might be able to get a refund on that. She mentioned she booked on American Express, so maybe, there might be some leeway there. Another good point, say for instance that she was going to stay in the hotel and catch that flight 2 days later. She said her bags made it onto the airplane. So I would encourage you, if you're ever doing long travel like that, pack some things like toiletries, an extra outfit or two, things that you may need in your carry-on. So like she would have been in that hotel room and maybe had to buy things, never know. Consider packing essentials on your carry-on. Also, look into making sure like you have enough time in between your flights and account for delays. Like I said, I don't know what her timing was. Also, do research on the airline to understand some of other people's experiences. Like I said, I had not seen a good experience or reviews on Turkish Airlines. She ends up on Emirates Airlines, where she's going through Dubai to get there, and she has to pay another $4,000, and she talks about how she ends up in coach. I'm really surprised that she didn't start off with Emirates to begin with. I know she was coming from LA, so maybe that could have been a factor. I know oftentimes when I fly on Emirates, I'm flying from Atlanta to New York to catch a flight, or either DC. So not sure if because of where she was flying from, that was the reason why she didn't fly Emirates in the first place. Another thing to point out is that she didn't get her baggage tags. She said she asked for them and she didn't get them. That's really important. If you can get your baggage tags, make sure you get it. Take a picture or something if you're not able to get the tags before you let them throw the bags on the belt. I know for like on Delta, they let me know via the app that my bag was going onto the airplane and it gave me the bag tag number. I'm kind of shocked that they didn't have that option. It's very unfortunate that this happened. I'm not really seeing that she threw a fit about it. If you've traveled internationally and you've dealt with some hiccups, you know that any of the best travelers, depending on what the circumstance is, you might just get frustrated. And that's what I see happen here. So I would encourage you to follow some of the tips that I provided earlier. If you're in need of, a recommendation for trip insurance, check the description of this video. While you're here, be sure to subscribe. My name is Kim. I post weekly videos to help you travel more.